I totally understand why the commission would want to approve this ordinance. My only question is the timing of this ordinance banning storage facilities in zones B2 and B3, which include such areas as Federal Highway and Hillsborough Boulevard. If we go back less than 2 years ago, the commission approved 2 large self-storage facilities, the first one at 545 South Federal Highway, which required 2 variances. Both Commissioners Miller and Ganz voted for the variances that allowed for a large building to be converted into a self-storage facility. Commissioner Battle had quite a different view, and I would like to quote Commissioner Battle from the minutes of that meeting. Commissioner Battle said, and I quote, "I would like to see major corridors developed economically with restaurants and other type venues and not dotted with storage facilities on all the major thoroughfares, as it shows a lack of planning by the city." Also, for the record, the restaurant that the applicant, Rosemurgy Properties, said would be built in front of the storage facility, surprisingly was never built. The other large storage facility is rising as we speak at 77 Southeast 2nd Avenue, just a stone's throw from Hillsborough Boulevard. This storage facility is 158,000 square feet. A monstrosity of this size belongs in an industrial district, not a commercial district. But on this project, just 21 months ago, Commissioners Ganz, Miller, and Battle all voted in favor of this project. So I asked the 3 commissioners who were on this dais when the 2 self-storage projects on major thoroughfares were approved, why were these 2 projects good for the citizens of Deerfield Beach less than 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden this type of development in a commercial area is bad for the citizens of Deerfield Beach? What has changed to make you flip your opinions on self-storage development on major thoroughfares like Federal Highway and Hillsborough Boulevard? The citizens of Deerfield Beach would like an answer, please.
Anyone else from the public? Not seeing anyone, I'm going to close the public portion to be heard. Commission comments. I'll say this as far as the storage facility that was agreed upon on Federal Highway. It takes a 4/5 vote at the time, and one of the facts that's left out of the commentary is that I had concerns about it at that time as well. I said that I would move forward just because I didn't want to hold up progress, and I believe it was Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Rosenzweig, myself, and Mayor Robb at the time voted for the 4/5 to change the zoning to allow it. The facility that was there would have needed to be, it was a unique facility. It had been abandoned for many years. It would, from what most professionals had said, would need it to be a total knockdown. That was a huge investment for somebody to come in and do that. Ideally, no, that wasn't the perfect thing. What is also left out of the statements that were made is that I didn't vote for the actual project itself. I voted against it because I did want larger retail in the front, because if you're going to have storage facility on the property, at least make sure that the retail was going to be larger in the front to try to cover that up as best possible. That didn't happen. I lost that vote, but I noticed that's left out of the discussion. As far as the storage facility that is located near at the old Deerfield Beach Builders Supply, I don't believe they came in and asked for a variance. I don't recall them asking for a variance, but I do believe that the law at the time allowed them to be built there. It's that simple. We would have had good reason, I believe, Mr. Attorney, to say no to that, since they were allowed to. They also had purchased that property and did that right before the city, and if you remember, we did put a zoning in progress at that time to try to look at developing a plan for what became Pioneer Grove. That property was purchased ahead of that, and if we had tried to take away any of the rights at that time after they had purchased that, I think we probably would have been looking at a we were threatened with the Burt Harris Act potential lawsuit. So there is some history to that. It's not always necessarily why it's not as important as how you voted. Sometimes it's a good reason as why you voted that way. So those are the reasons that were voted that way. And also, if you look at some of those properties that were on, if you look at that particular property that was on Federal Highway, you look at some of the things that were near there. There was potential with a decent retail establishment put in the front. Had it been made larger, in my opinion, it would have had a more positive impact than what I think it probably will end up having. But I think this is a good thing to move forward, so I hope there's support for this.
I make a motion